So you're gonna move to Belize, but you don't know where. Or maybe you just think that Belize is one big city or town. Well, the truth is, guys, and this might come as a shock to many of you, Belize is a country and there's many options in Belize. And in this video, I'm gonna break down what is going to be the best option for you. I'll give you the pros and cons of the destinations that you might move to in Belize. Today, we're talking about livability, where to move to, and what fits your specific personality. Let's start off with San Pedro. It is the elephant in the room because San Pedro typically is gonna be the #1 place that people will move to from the USA and Canada. Now, the biggest reason for that, I guess, is that we have the largest expat community in Belize. Also, the reef proximity is closer to the island here, so you can get out to the reef with ease. And that's really the most proprietary, amazing thing about Belize. There's all these amazing things about Belize, but the Belize Barrier Reef and Mesoamerican Barrier Reef is the biggest one. It is the largest living reef in the world. And it just so happens that Ambergris Caye, San Pedro is the closest area of the country to that reef. So that is going to be a huge factor. From a lifestyle perspective, you have an abundance of restaurants. I can pick out of, honestly, when people come here, they're actually shocked. Like, well, I didn't even realize how good the food was, how many options I would have. So you have a ton of options. You have more vacationers coming through here. You have very good nightlife for the country of Belize. It's realistically the best nightlife in the country of Belize as well. And that's kind of the biggest pros. So livability and lifestyle is, in my opinion, for me, I live in San Pedro. I'm sitting here right now. It's gonna be your peak. But again, that's for me personally. So let's talk about some of the things that I don't love about San Pedro and that you might not love about San Pedro. Transportation is typically done on a golf cart. Now, for many people, if you're on a vacation, this is like a peak experience because you're cruising around, you're smelling the air. I'm driving by Robin's Kitchen, I can smell the barbecue jerk chicken over there. It's a magical experience. But if it's an everyday thing, that magic might go away. Now, you might be like me and just say, all right, you're gonna boat places and kind of go around that, which is a great little hack, but overall the golf cart can be an impact for a lot of people. The other factor I would say is traffic. Currently right now, the island has a tremendous amount of room to grow still, but most of the development is taking place in San Pedro town, which is in the southern end of Ambergris Caye, and it's a smaller area. So you do have condensed development. Now, as things continue to grow, we're gonna see that open up. Obviously, Secret Beach area, everything on the West Coast, everything going north, there's so much room for this island to grow. And actually, when people tell me it's too busy, you can't grow anymore, look at comparable islands, guys, like Roatan, Honduras, and Grand Cayman and Cayman Islands. Geographically, similar size, population, almost double. So there's room to grow, but for now, it is a factor. Getting around traffic can be tight when you're in the town specifically. The final thing I'd say, and this can be a minor one depending on how much you're coming and going, but it is an island, right? So there's benefits of being an island, and there's also a cost that you do have to take a water taxi or you have to take a plane to get here. So those are kind of my main 3 downsides of being in San Pedro, but overall on all the other boxes, it hits all of them for me in spades. Now, let's go to the little sister island of Caye Caulker, and a lot of this is going to be very similar to San Pedro in terms of it being an island. You're right there. You can actually boat up to San Pedro with ease. Now, the difference is in Caye Caulker, it is more of a backpacker vibe, so it's going to be a younger community. You can walk the island in, I don't even know, maybe 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. So on a day-to-day basis, you're going to be more likely to get island fever in Caye Caulker. Now, if you're just chilling and you enjoy, you know, I'm going to do a little bar hop, I'm going to ride my bike around, I'm going to read my books, I'm going to go fishing. The reality is you could adapt to the lifestyle there, but it is going to be for someone that is in a more kind of low-key area with a smaller community. I think the population there, it's got to be like maybe a couple thousand, if that. So it is a smaller community. If you do go to Caye Caulker though, go to Pasta Picasso. Got to shout out my guy Armando, one of my favorite restaurants in Belize. It is a 10 out of 10. You have great food options there. You have great bars there. Go to the Sip and Dip, go to Lazy Lizard, enjoy that little bar hop, walk down the street, immerse in the culture, enjoy. That's kind of my pros and cons of Caye Caulker. Similar to San Pedro, only smaller. Now let's talk about Belize City. Now, Belize City has a few advantages that I think are actually very key advantages, but from a year-round lifestyle advantage, it does have its costs. So first, let's start with the advantages. Number one, when you fly into Belize, you fly into the Philip Goldson International Airport, which is located in Ladyville, which is just, you know, a few minutes north of Belize City. So in terms of accessibility from the United States and Canada, it is the easiest place to get to because we only have one international airport, and guys, that's where you fly into. So accessibility has to be one of the advantages. Next would be medical. There is a hospital in Ambergris Caye. There's some other medical facilities around the country. Typically, many of the places we're going to talk about have polyclinics, but it does have the main hospitals in the country of Belize and far and above the best medical care in the country of Belize. Typically, if you're going in for something like a specialty treatment, you are going to go to Belize City. So you are close to that as well. A next big thing would be the other industries in Belize. So the call centers that are in the country, typically you're going to find in Belize City and Belmopan. You have the financial industry. So a lot of the things like the banks are going to be there, their main kind of headquarters. So it's a very easy place to access all the things you would want. Now, the cost of being in Belize City, I think that there are several that are really important to note for you guys. The biggest is don't expect to have like a Caribbean vibe as much. It's not going to be like being in the other coastal areas of the country. Like it is more of kind of a business place. It is more of a city. One big one's going to be safety, guys. And I'm not going to say that it's like everywhere you go in Belize City, you're in danger, but it is important to be aware that it is where most of the violent crimes in the country take place. This is just a reality. It is what it is. I don't really, like when I'm going around Belize City, I'm never really super stressed, but it is important to be cautious. And if you're living there year round, it is a factor that you need to be aware of. Other than that, guys, it's not a big beach place. Most of the areas along the coastline have seawall, so you're not gonna be able to go to the beach. And it does not have a large expat community that you might be looking for. So on the pros, you're close to all those things like hospitals and amenities that you might want. But on the cons, it's safety, it's livability, it's what are you gonna do day to day. So overall, it's not gonna be a top choice for many of you. It might be for some of you that are really looking to come down and like start a business or something and you want to be there. It's probably the one instance I'd say Belize City might make sense. Now let's move west to the city of Belmopan, and Belmopan is the capital of Belize. Before it was St. George's Caye, then it was Belize City, now it is Belmopan, and Belmopan has a population of 28,000, so it is a larger town. It's a small city, I guess, whatever you want to call it, but it is the capital and it is a government hub. So benefits first, as always. You're in a central location in the country where you can drive with ease to just about anywhere in the country or drive to the coast and fly to the islands. So you have the Hummingbird Highway right beside Belmopan, which is quite literally the most beautiful highway I've ever driven down in my entire life. You're seeing these beautiful rolling hills, birds flying around, wildlife everywhere. You can go to the Southern Highway after that and head down to some of the other places we're going to talk about. You can easily go north, you can drive to the border, go to Mexico. So that central location is a huge factor. With it being the capital of Belize, it is a government and embassy hub. So if you need to do any work at your embassy or you need to get any permitting done in the country of Belize, typically you can do it in Belmopan a lot easier. They call it the Garden City for a reason. Obviously, with it being centrally located, you don't have coastline, but you have a lot of beautiful flora and fauna all around you in the jungle there. And it is a great place if you love watching birds and you really are just looking for that slower pace of life. Now, they do have some shopping there. You do have some great restaurants in Belmopan. One of my favorite grab and go eats is Formosa Cafe. I've been going there for years. They have great dumplings. It's also a coffee shop. Highly recommend that. Fusion 5, they got hookahs, they got sushi, they got a bunch of good eats there. So you have options for dining in Belmopan. Nightlife, they have some options as well. So it's gonna be one of the bigger places where you're gonna have more options. Now on the flip side, you're not gonna get access to those beaches that you would in any coastal town. So if you're someone that's looking for a beach, you're not gonna have that. And it doesn't have a huge expat community in there. It is growing, but at this point it's still smaller. So that's kind of the main downsides I would see. But overall, if you're looking for somewhere to just kind of live a really calm and chill life, Belmopan could be a great option for you if you don't care about being right beside those major attractions in Belize. All right, we did Belmopan. Let's just keep moving west to the twin towns, St. Helena and San Ignacio. This is some of my favorite places in Belize, guys, because you're close to some of the best wildlife in the country. Again, you're sacrificing everything that's going on the coast because you're literally the furthest away from the coast that you could be in the country of Belize. But what you're getting in exchange for that, it's pretty good. You're getting caves, think Rio Frio Cave, think waterfalls, 1,000-foot falls. You've got Five Sisters Falls. You have actually like so many waterfalls, so many trails. You have Pine Ridge in there. You have an abundance of things that you can look at while you're there. So really from a wildlife perspective, amazing. From a food perspective and club perspective, you have Tequila Nightclub, which is very good. You have the casino in there. We always have a good time going to the casino. From a food standpoint, there are actually quite a few places in San Ignacio that I love. I love eating at the San Ignacio Hotel. They have great food there. I love Crave. I love Pop's Diner. It's like a traditional diner experience, the shredded hash browns, getting the coffee poured there. Love that they also have Belizean dishes like fried jacks. So Pop's Diner is a must hit for breakfast. You have Guava Lim, you have Lola's, and I'm forgetting, literally my favorite is Coaxana. Like they have the Thai chicken at Coaxana, it goes hard. So the restaurant side, you're not lacking. You have nightlife. Overall, like I really love San Ignacio. Now, on the flip side, the cons or the downsides, I guess you could say, you're not close to the ocean. That's gonna be a big one. A lot of people have this dream when you're in Belize. Like for me, that was a big thing. I like being here because for me, when I walk out in the morning, I can go in the water. I love boating, I love fishing. It's not gonna be the same over there. You're gonna lose those activities. And really that's like the biggest one I could say. It's not a huge population as well, but in terms of Belize, it's probably one of the bigger populations. So you're not gonna find these massive cities anywhere anyways. And overall, it's got a lot to offer, so it's worth looking at. All right, we've gone all the way from the islands and gone west. Now we're gonna come back and go south. So we have a few, I think there's 4 big locations down south that you might be looking at. And I'm just gonna go in sequential order, starting with Dangriga. So Dangriga might not be at the top of your list, but you might have heard about Dangriga. So it is a Garifuna community. It's called the cultural capital of Belize, and it has a really beautiful community there. Shopping is limited in Dangriga, so don't expect to have really much shopping at all. They have some stores there, and it's gonna be a very rural and chill lifestyle in Dangriga. If you're someone that really wants to just take it easy and chill out, could be a great fit for you. You're still on the water, that's a massive benefit. And overall, that's kind of the breakdown of Dangriga. It's probably not gonna be somewhere that you're gonna really see on the list, but I would be curious to watch it over the next decade or two and see what happens with Dangriga. So moving south from there, you have Hopkins, which is another Garifuna village. And this one's more of a mix. It's got a thriving expat community. You have the City River beside Hopkins. You have beautiful keys, and so does Dangriga actually have so many beautiful keys off the coastline, so islands there. Now let's talk about Hopkins. So Hopkins is a village that has so much to offer. It's another Garifuna village, and that cultural aspect of Hopkins is for me what makes it magical. I love meeting everyone in the streets in Hopkins. It's great vibes, great energy always. That's a big factor for me. Number 2 for Hopkins on the pros is that it has a thriving expat community that is already there. So if you are someone that really wants to be in, a similar community, or you don't want to break out of that, then it's already there for you. So you have that option. The food is great. There's a lot of good options in Hopkins. You have places like, in no specific order, Baje Fiesta, which is Filipino food that I love. Maximo's is kind of beach eats. Driftwood Pizza, more beach eats. Ella's Cool Spot. Love Ella's Cool Spot. Great food, traditional food. And they've got also a club at night. And Ella will probably even be there DJing, which is always great for the vibes. You have La Trattoria, which is Italian food. You have, if you want to go more fine dining, Jaguar Reef or Hamanasi. So these are just some of the places that I like to go there. But overall, you have great options for food. Now, let's go to the cons or the downsides here. Downsides, you don't have a huge population. So we're realistically looking at around 1,500 people. And that's my personal estimate, but I think it's fairly accurate. So it's not a large place. You're not gonna have a ton of shopping. Again, there's like a couple stores where you can buy basic things, and that's really it. Other than that, you're gonna need to go to Belize City, you're gonna need to go to Belmopan, you're gonna need to go to San Pedro, which you're not gonna drive there, but these are the places that have a more robust shopping experience to find what you're looking for. But that is kind of the 2 major factors here. Also on the pros, being close to the keys, these beautiful keys off the coastline, all of these islands there, and being on the City River, you have all of these different landscapes in one area, which makes Hopkins one of the top places that I really personally like as well. Let's keep moving south here, guys. Placencia, very similar to Hopkins, population of about 5,000. So again, you're gonna have more of a village vibe. It is a growing expat community. It's one of the top places that people go. On the pros side, you have very good restaurants there. So we can look at places like Rumfish, I love going. You have Itzana, which has great food. You have Turtle Inn. You have other great just kind of grab and go eats. You have The Point, which is a great place to go hang out and walk and enjoy. From a bar standpoint, there's kind of one bar, but what it does, it focuses everything into that bar, which, I mean, there are technically 2 bars, but it's Barefoot and Tipsy Tuna, and that's kind of what it is, but most people go to Barefoot. So the vibes are great down there, and you can drive a car. That's another big one compared to being in another place, being able to drive your car. Again, thriving expat community. Those are the pros for Placencia. On the cons, what I would say, small population again, limited shopping, and that's kind of the main ones there. Placencia has a great offering, and for a lot of people, it would probably be a great fit. If you guys are interested in Placencia and Hopkins, we've been telling you about this, we've been teasing it, but we have a new project coming in the area that I think a lot of you are gonna be very excited about. And if you wanna be one of the first people to get the info, you already know, scan the code over here and the Remax team will get you that info. If you've already scanned it and you're already on the wait list to get the info, don't worry. If you haven't scanned it yet though, now's gonna be a good time because we're gonna make the major announcement soon. Other than that, let's keep moving south down to Punta Gorda, which Punta Gorda is gonna be for the remote traveler. It's very similar in that, like Dangriga, you're gonna have a limited option of what you're gonna do there. You're also in the southernmost kind of major town in the country of Belize. There are some really notable places that I love to go in PG. For me, it's more of a vacation spot though. Copal Tree Lodge, I gotta shout them out. If you're going to Belize and you wanna just hit one mainland hotel, that is my favorite mainland hotel. And PG has that village vibe. On the pros, it's probably gonna be the most affordable coastal real estate. Like Placencia and Hopkins are gonna be more expensive, same with San Pedro. But if you're looking at coastal areas, Punta Gorda is going to be the most affordable. On the flip side of that, you have a population, again, a couple thousand people, and livability is going to be a tough adjustment. That's actually where I've seen a lot of people move to places like PG, Dangriga, and these smaller villages. And then they go on and make YouTube videos after, like, oh, Belize was this, Belize was that, but they didn't watch this video. They should have watched this video, guys, you know, because then they would have known that these are smaller villages. It's gonna be tougher to adapt down there. So overall with PG, I'm not gonna expect it to be a great fit for many of you, but if you're someone that just wants to be on the beach at a cheap budget and you don't care if you're just chilling on your property 24/7 all day long, could work for you. Orange Walk. Now we're going up into the northern end, so let's start with the pros like we always do about being in Orange Walk. And one of the biggest ones for me, those delicious Orange Walk tacos. When you go to Orange Walk, make sure you try their unique style of tacos. Another massive one is the cultural mix in Orange Walk. You have the mestizo culture, you have Mennonites in Orange Walk, you have Maya people. Like, it really is a melting pot of the country of Belize where you have all these cultures meeting in a beautiful village vibe. It is a slower place too. So it's gonna be more like, for example, like your Dangrigas in terms of the pace of life. Don't expect to have that, like, we're moving quick. We really don't get that anywhere in Belize, but overall, this is gonna be one of the on the slower end of the scale. So it is a smaller vibe when you're looking at the pace of life. Now, we don't have the coastal aspects, which is more on our con list or our downside list, but on the flip side of that, you are closer to Mexico, which going to Chetumal for a day, we've done videos on this before, it can be a really nice thing to just go in. You have Walmart there, you have your franchise fast food restaurants there. So if you wanna get that feeling like you're in a big city vibe, you only have to drive like an hour, 45 minutes. You're at the border, you cross over, you're in Chetumal. You can go up to Bacalar, Tulum. This is something that I'll do quite often to just go for a vacation because it's so easy to access. So being close to Chetumal is a massive advantage. And for me, probably the biggest advantage of being in Orange Walk. Other than that, you have rich wildlife and ecosystem there, even with it still not being on the coastline. So you've got jungles, you have Lamanai, you have the river tour, and going down the new river to Lamanai, for me, is one of my favorite things. You can fish right below the Mayan temple. You see the howler monkeys in the trees above the temple. It's just kind of a magical experience in Orange Walk. So the downsides of being in Orange Walk, again, pace of life, being in a more remote location, you don't have that expat community. So you're really gonna have to adapt into the cultural fit there. And it's not gonna be for like a beginner mover. We should actually have graded these based on beginner or non-beginner mover. Like, you gotta be ready to move and like get with the culture and change what you're doing. And like, you gotta fit into Orange Walk, you know? So it's not gonna be that slide in and just kind of keep my old habits type place and just hang out with expats and this and that. It'll be a different vibe than that, but it has so much to offer on the pro side that I think it could fit for some people. And finally, Corozal, which is one of the most talked about places. So some of the biggest advantages when you look at Corozal are the cost of living, the affordable beach real estate. You're gonna find that it's more affordable than other places. You do have a small expat community in Corozal that is there in places like the actual town of Corozal. A growing one in Sartaneja. You might have heard about Sartaneja more over the last little bit. A big one again, you're now the closest town in Belize to Mexico. So being right beside that border, you can drive across. Same thing as Orange Walk. I don't need to repeat it, but it's a major advantage. And just having that nice community atmosphere in Corozal, it's a great community destination with a lot of really nice people in the area. Now on the flip side for Corozal, I would say it is not gonna be, again, one where you're gonna have kind of that easy, you just slide in, you have all the expats around, but that's coming and it's a great destination for the future where you're gonna see a lot of this stuff, I think, come to Corozal and it will continue to develop. So overall, guys, that is my list. I hope this helped. If you guys have any more questions about, maybe you left this video and you're like, I need to follow up on this question, scan the QR code, guys. The RE/MAX team can help you learn about what's the best place for you as well. We can answer your specific questions. We love helping. Other than that, guys, we'll see you in the next video. And hopefully we'll see you out here moving to Belize and meeting you in paradise soon. We out. Peace.